Hello, folks. Hello, and this is your boy Goji, and I am back with another talk show. I apologize if the music is too loud. I have to do something about that. But yeah, I guess that's just how it is. Also, I just noticed that my girlfriend was waiting way before the stream even started. No, that's what I call dedication. It's 4 minutes past due. Due. Hello, Showa. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Venus. And now they're just spamming EA Sports. Tee hee. Well. With that being out of the way, uh, and what I mean by that getting out of the way, I mean the spamming of the E's in the chat. I am here to talk about talk about a frig. There's your host. He's stuttering again. Like Jesus Christ. My parents let me off of school today. My brain should be functioning. I took a break. My brain should be functioning. I'm peeved. Like I'm not mad, but oh my god. Um anyways, my Gojis, I am going to be talking about something that I should talk about a lot more on this channel because it's something that confuses almost everybody, especially those whose OCs were featured in the channel beforehand but are no longer featured in this channel. So without further ado, I am going to talk about the Gojiverse continuity and what fits in it. So I am going to go on to the first subject. I will not do the drum roll because Maddox is not here right now. So, I mean, he's probably still in school. He's probably just adjusting from school because again, school for us is hard as hell. Uh but let's get this out of the way, my Gojis. Let's get this out of the way. Um First, we talk about the eras of the Gojira 12 franchise. Or the Gojira 12 channel, I should say. Since it's not even a franchise. Well, technically, maybe it is a franchise. Maybe that's just me being stupid again. Um, we're going to talk about the eras. First, I'm gonna go into discussion about the Dino Doolan era, way before Goji ever became a thing. So the Dino Doolan era was just me being YouTube for just for craps and giggles, okay? I made a Alice in Wonderland adaptation with a mix of Through the Looking Glass, and it was called. I mean, it didn't really have a title. It was just titled "Shot in iMovie," but it was called Dino Doolan in Wonderland. And as I've said before, it featured scenes from Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, where it was like Rowan, Daniel Doolan, that's me. Um, I mean, I guess I'm still Rowan as Goji since that's a part of his name. That's Goji's actual name. But that was also Daniel Doolan's actual name, so hope that doesn't confuse people too much. But I'm just gonna call the Dino Doolan Rowan Dino just because I don't want to confuse any of you Gojis, just in case you don't get the memo. So, like, Dino Doolan, like, met all these characters from the the Lewis Carroll books. Jesus, like, the Lion and the Unicorn, the Dodo, um, the mouse that swam in the Yeah, that mouse that swam in the Sea of Tears, Humpty Dumpty, the White King, the Mock Turtle, the Griffin. Uh, yeah, it was just kind of mumble jumbled all over the place. And ironically, there was no like. So okay, let me explain this. So I think in my mindset, I replaced the caterpillar scene with the Humpty Dumpty scene, and I replaced the uh the Duchess scene with the Queen of Hearts scene because the frog footman and the fish footman, who is portrayed as a giant crayfish, are they're there at the Queen of Hearts palace, and in place of the Duchess, the frog is now the footman of the Queen of Hearts. I had no idea. Actually, I think the crayfish footman was actually the footman of the White King. So I think that explains things, from what I remember. But all it really was just me being a kid and having fun because I really loved the Lewis Carroll books back in the day. I mean, I still do, but I don't obsess over them as much. Like, there's really only one character that I really do hold in my heart, and that is the Mock Turtle. Obviously, poor guy does not get enough credit for being one of the characters in Alice in Wonderland, where in which Alice actually makes a friendship with. I mean, there was also the Griffin too, but even then, those two are in the same scene together. So I guess that technically, uh, so I guess that technically counts the Griffin as well. But they really don't get enough credit for that. So yeah, I love that crying old turtle. But now we move on to the prototype era, and this is when I made my first legitimate project, and that was Godzilla Roommates #1. Godzilla Roommates was based off of Monster Island Buddies. If you guys know about Monster Island Buddies, then I rate you all. That is amazing. Uh, but it was based off of Monster Island Buddies, and it featured Mothra Leo, who at the time I did not know was a boy, but I mean, whatever. With Godzilla 2001, and they're like, and recently, Kiryu enters the scene because he wants to like meet some of his brothers because his brothers, the other Mechagodzillas, are supposedly at the hotel, but they're not at the hotel. So now Godzilla 2001 has to babysit him technically, but Godzilla 2001 is like, oh hell nah, I'm not babysitting this big ass metallic kaiju man. So he takes him over. He takes him over to Gigan, but it's kind of awkward since Kiryu accidentally kills Megalon in the first half of the special. So so Gigan is like kind of like submissive about this, but then Kiryu and Gigan like have a bond, and then they become roommates within the hotel. Because without Megalon, Gigan is basically like that one guy who owns the room. So there we have it. There is also the Cooking with Shin Gojira skits. I really liked those. I didn't have the technology to uh, really do anything special with it, but I really still do like those shorts. Those are one of the best things that have ever come out of the prototype era. And fun fact, uh, the this that movie, Godzilla Roommates, was the first time Goji, at least a version of him, was ever brought to screen. Like Goji used to be this like Ultraman kaiju type hybrid. You see, he had the body sculpt and the claws of Sedora from Ultraman Jack. He also had the head of Sigorith from Ultraman Jack, and Sigorith is like this water tsunami monster with a giant electrical horn on his head. Um, but his claws were made to look more like Bolton claws rather than Sedora claws. And of course, he had Godzilla scales, since blah blah blah. Overall, Goji would have been an overpowered freak show OC. Which, not to call anyone out, I have a lot of friends whose characters are like that. But even then, they're learning, so I won't crap on him for it. But, yeah. Now I'm just thinking to myself, if I still kept Goji the way it is, uh, um, I really do think that I would have ended up, being a Max situation, like when Max was still Sega Man and blah blah blah. But I improved the character. Well, I removed the character entirely. He only was featured in that one Godzilla Roommates movie because I was still adapting him. And then I made the first drawing base of Goji. I made him much more different from the Godzilla Roommates Goji. This version of Goji had brown skin in contrast to yellow. He had a green cap, which, I mean, Goji still has a green cap. He just prefers wearing a top hat now for, well, reasons. Probably softer on his scaly ass head. But, he also had Mickey Mouse type gloves and no bandana. So, there you have it, folks. Uh, that was, uh, there's the origin of the anthropomorphic Goji. But then Road to the Sun came in, and this is when we come into the Gojira 12 era. Um Not the Gojiverse era, the Gojira 12 era. I just want to let you know the difference because it will come in handy soon enough. The Gojira 12 era is when I made skits and movies with a bunch of other already existing and somewhat copyrighted characters. Kamen Rider, Shrek, Godzilla, of course, and Five Nights at Freddy's, specifically Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and Sister Location. With a reference to Pizza Simulator, because Foxy has a parrot uh, named Polly, who is actually portrayed by a white dove of peace, because I do not have any good parrot figures anymore. But Road to the Sun came first, and that is when we meet Goji in his first figure film. And he had red skin with I mean, his horn stayed the same, but there was like this fleshy hoop around it. So it was like a protruding narwhal tooth. So there's that little thing, that little bit of info. But this featured a bunch of characters. There was Max's old character, Cool Max Reed, or CM as he called himself. Uh Maddox didn't really change. He was still like he was still a red dragon, but he was actually more of a side character rather than a main character, honestly. But as me and Maddox's friendship grew, I maybe that explains things, because I recently got into Lionsgate, and since me and Maddox just kept getting closer and closer, his character just became more and more important, which leads up to today's era, but we're not getting into that yet. Yeah, and then it featured Alec, who had yellow skin. Ironically, I would switch out the figures for Alec and Goji. Goji would be the one with yellow skin, and Alec would be the one with the infamous red skin. And moving on, there was also Michael's old character and Kyo's old character. There was one of Max's friends and one of my acquaintances named Tori in the movie. There were a bunch of enemies in the movies, which were actually based off of uh, Max's real life enemies. So I just did that to, give a shout out to Max's haters. With From what I'm pretty sure, Remy being the only one who actually got redeemed by the end of all this, if you guys remember the plot of Road to the Sun. And so many others. And then we move on to the next entry in the Gojira 12 era. And this is when the universe actually got more relevant. And that was with the first Gojira 12 movie. The first movie to prominently show Goji in his red skin and green cap. Which again, I would have given Goji the top hat, but I was using that as the hat for Goji's grandfather, Grandeur the Grey, and blah blah blah. So in the Gojira 12 movie, it featured Max's OC, although he was a bit altered. Then we had Venus's old OC named Sentry. Boy, those were awkward times. Then we had Maddox as the fourth main character. And then Alec as the fifth main character. And a lot happened. A lot happened in that movie. And it was the first time where Lord Hood was actually mentioned. But the more I think about it, since Ashley told me that Lord Hood was actually a Sonic character, I honestly have no idea what to think of that anymore, because I thought Lord Hood was like his completely his own thing, one of Ashley's legitimate characters. So, and people were asking me if he were ever to appear again. I have no idea, considering I'm not allowing any more Sonic content into this channel, just because of how much crap has happened. But yes, Lord Hood was in the movie, and as Ashley said, she was just a giant Komodo dragon, a giant seafaring Komodo. You know what? Komodos can already swim pretty well, so what's the use of me saying that? And the only reason why I added Ashley was because she made those cool ass fan arts of me, and Chloe's older variants of our characters. But ever since then, our friendship grew, and Ashley became anthropomorphic, and she just became a character that would pop up now and then to help the group. Um. So. Also, there was, um, there was also the character Nessie in the film. Now, fun fact: if any of you guys remember Nessie, she was Goji's like fictional girlfriend, but that did not but that was because those were lonely times, and felt like I had no chance with actual girls. But now I have Ari, and now my depression is cured. At least in that uh part. But also here's another thing. When there was no need for Nessie's character anymore, and when I met Ari, I transferred Nessie into Sabrosa. And since Nessie's figure has blue skin, um, like Sabrosa can now like have her fruity parts of the body showing when there's a green screen. That's basically it. Now the concept of Nessie, like the more I look back at it, it was so awkward, man. It was so awkward. Like she wasn't a controversial character like Max's characters, like not by a long shot, but she was certainly one of the more awkward ones. Like especially nowadays, because I'm just looking back at it and I'm like, wow, I was really sad back in the day, wasn't I? Um, so there we go. Then we move on to the Alec movies. The Alec movies were the more important parts, perhaps even more important than the Gojira 12 movie, just because it actually made Alec a character rather than just the magical friend of Goji. Uh, like, like it established that he had ups and downs in his personality. Hell, he was like the version of Frankenstein which appeared in the Boris Karloff movies of the same name, of course, which featured Boris Karloff as the Frankenstein monster. I completely forgot the actor's name for Dr. Frankenstein, but really good portrayal of him, really believable. But nothing will top Gene Wilder's Young Frankenstein. Am I right or am I right? Um, but Alex movies, especially the Switcheroo, established his personality, and yeah. But after those two Alec movies, like the Alec movies ceased for a little while, and Alec decided to make his own movie, which is where Baby Gamora comes in. And it's honestly one of his best structured movies. Like no flashy effects or anything, but really, really, really nice. Um, but now we move on to the I mean, this is still in the Gojira 12 era, but this is where it really ends. This is where it really ends. And that is with the Monster Island skits featuring the Ultra Monsters like Melba, Gamora, Red King, Eribunta, Sedora, Ella King, and others. Oh, and Gelberos, of course, who was more antagonistic than the other monsters. But how it really ended was with Gojira 12's adventure on Monster Island. And back in the day, that was probably the best movie I've made ever. And I can see why. I can see why. It was like it was so revolutionary for me. Just makes me wish it could go back in time. But it also makes me wish that I didn't, because number one, I did not have Ari at that time. so I still would have been depressed in the relationship sense, but I also would have been a lot more childish still. So I am much happier about where I am now because I actually grew as a person. At least I think I have. Um Again, you have to be your biggest fan, and I think that I did good. Um but when the Gojira 12 adventure on Monsterland, or Goji's adventures on Monster Island, as it is usually referred by, even in the movie titles, that was the end of the Gojira 12 era, and then we moved on to the skit era. This is where crap really got convoluted in the universe. Like, Max changes his OC and becomes Sega Man. Sure, it was an upgrade, a lot more of an upgrade than his former character, but man, considering what he could have been, that was one hell of a downgrade. But that was the least of our troubles. Um, I kept connecting the Goji. No, that was in the Gojira 12 era. My bad. Um, like, I literally came up with no ideas for movies whatsoever. Sure, that was when I finally was able to use iMovie again. I was smart enough to use iMovie again. But at the cost of me not having any movie ideas whatsoever. It was just skit after skit after skit featuring Sega Man and Goji and Maddox and Alec over and over and over again. The best thing about that era for me was the birthday videos, but especially Alec's birthday video. Oh, and Maddox's of course, the Zach vlog video, which Zach really wanted me to make, but people liked it more because it was making fun of Zach's character. I feel so guilty and yet not so guilty. But hmm. Oh, hold on, guys. Sorry, that was just my paw talking to me. But as I was saying, um, this era was really not a good one for me. It was probably the era that I enjoyed the least. Because at least with the Dino Doolan era, I was able to get some nostalgic factor from watching it. And from the Gojira 12 era, I was able to get some nostalgic factor from it as well. But it was a lot more fun since it finally grew Goji as a character. And with the prototype era, when I look back at that, it's just I'm able to look at how I improved and just thinking of how inspired I was by Monster Island Buddies. You know what? Actually, I made a tweet saying congratulations on the channel anniversary to Monster Buddies, and he actually liked that tweet. He retweeted it and everything, and people were liking it and liking it and liking it. And I actually got a lot more people from the Monster Island Buddies community and from the Godzilla community in general follow me. So it's really nice to know that one of my biggest inspirations really appreciated a tweet from me. That really makes me feel good. But as I was saying with the skit era, yeah, there were some good things about it, yes, but the rest of it I just did not enjoy. Um, but I also made a bunch of going to the zoo videos. Like Max made a going to the zoo video. I made a going to the zoo video with Max and Maddox being featured. Then there was another. Then there was more go to the zoo videos. Uh, Also, fun fact among other fun facts in this video, this is where the character Leonardo the Lizard got introduced, with one of Chloe's characters called. Well, originally Chloe's character was Wolfawega. I don't know what that character's name is now, but most importantly, that is when Leonardo D. Lizard came into the story. But he is not connected to the Gojiverse in any significant way. But he was definitely there. He was definitely there. I mean, he was a parallel to Goji in a way, but not in the sense of like, I don't know, Jonosaurus is. But I do really want to bring Leonardo D. Lizard back. So there we have that. But let's move on to the better eras. Uh, then there is the No, wait. Let me see. What is this era? I don't really have a name for this era, but it was like when Max started doing streams. Well, also when I was getting better at iMovie. Nothing really significant came out of it, but I got like much better at iMovie. Um oh, there was also the time where the entire Sonic OC drama happened, and but I don't want to get into that since I'm pretty sure the most of you know what happened after the fact and who won that argument. Not me, not Max, but probably Maddox, if I'm being honest. Pretty sure it was Maddox. And then we have where I am now. We have the Golden Gojirowan era. This is the era where I finally get to act like myself and get more people to like me for it, for my content, for my for my skits, for my character creativity, and just me being me. Whether it's me being a whack ass or just me just being um you know, the friendly leader figure. But I really do feel like that this present era, like, even with, like, there are plenty of eras to come, but this era is probably for probably the best. I mean, again, not only did I meet Ari from all this, not only did I gain other subscribers from all this, but again, subscriber count does not mean important. Um, but I also ended up, um, I just feel like this ended up being my favorite era, just because I finally got to be who I really wanted to be all along. And sorry, that was an error. I'm just like, what else is there really to say? Like, I'm just happy how I turned out. Life has gotten really good for me, and I mean, even with friggin' school on my palate, I mean, when I'm free from school, I'm really able to be happy with Ari, my subscribers, my actual friends, my family, my dog, of course, but he technically counts as a part of the family. It, uh, it, it it's just I just feel happy with where I am. But there are the eras for you. But now we go into the continuity. No, wait a minute. Maybe I should discuss about the movies first and then the continuity. I really feel like that would make more sense. Um okay, let me see. Yeah, the movies as stated. The Godzilla roommates movies. That does not count to the Gojiverse, but it is a movie. Godzilla Roommates 2, Godzilla Roommates 3, Cooking with Shin Gojira. Um the Road to the Sun movie, the Gojira 12 movie. Oh wait, let me read what Ari said. I already talked about movie process yesterday. No. Uh, Movie process and like movie counting is completely different. I'm counting down the movies that I've already made, not the movies that I still want to friggin' finish. Um. Oh yeah, it's hard, but we move, boys. We move. Well, there's more than boys in the chat. We move, guys. We move. I get it now. Shush. All right. I shush. I shush. Well, I have to keep talking because I have to. I have to. Oh, you know what? You already get the joke. Um. Then we have the Gojira 12 movie. Because of the characters used and some of the uh yeah, because mainly because of the characters used, or at least the variants of the characters used, that movie is no longer canon, so that's why I want to separate the Gojira 12 era from the Gojirowan era. Okay? Okay. Get it, got it, good. Then we have the Alec movies, The Time Machine and Switcheroo, Goji's Adventure on Monster Island. Oh, I completely forgot about this too. I also made a It's a Wonderful Life parody called It's a Wonderful Goji, but that is also part of the Gojira 12 era. Hell, it's actually set kind of like afterward from the Gojira 12 movie. So yeah, that does not count anymore. But now we move forward, and that's really about it for Goji movies. Like, that's really about it. Like, I really I've like clearly Goji has been in a bunch of stuff. He's been in a lot of content, but he's hardly been in movies anymore. But even then, I'm planning to make like a few more movies with him, like a Road to the Sun remake slash sequel, and the Gojiverse Gojira 12 movie. So there's that bit of info. Because, yeah, Max actually asked me on Instagram that will there be a Road to the Sun 3? Because, like, back at school, I was planning to make a second one, and he thought that I released one. The answer for that is, I, no, the road to the, like, the first Road to the Sun was in the Gojira 12 era, not canon anymore, because of how many copyrighted references was in it. Then we have Road to the Sun 2, which was going to be made, but it would have had the same problem. And then we have Road to the Sun 3, which will basically be my remake of Road to the Sun. But it also wouldn't be part 3, it would just be the first movie, but practically rewritten. With some aspects staying, with some aspects going. It's still going to have that, oh, well, who did it aspect. It's going to have the detective aspect. And that's one of the few differences. Other difference, Jonosaurus and his company will be featured in this movie. But that is all the plot I am giving away. I mean, as of now, okay, so I think that's it for the movies. Now we move on to the continuity. I am going to completely skip the Gojira 12 era, at least the first half of the Gojira 12 era. So here we go. First, we have the first Gojira 12 movie. It is when Goji actually gets his character developed. It is when his most famous form actually gets into play, which is him having black scaly hair, uh, yellow body, brown stomach, uh, big banjo eyes, blah blah blah. It is also when other characters are mainly established. It is the first movie where Maddox actually becomes a main character rather than just a character made to not make a friend feel left out. Um, then we have It's a Wonderful Goji. Uh, then I completely forgot. We also have Sentry in Wonderland. That comes after It's a Wonderful Goji, but again, Gojira 12 era, not canon. Um, and then we have Goji's Adventures on Monster Island. And then after that, we have the Switcheroo and Time Machine movies, which, despite being made before, from what I can recall, it is supposed to be set after the Monster Island adventure. And also, I have to discuss this. It may seem that they don't get home from Monster Island by the end of the movie, but this scene was actually cut. Uh, in the script I made, I cannot find the script anymore. It's like completely lost to time. Like from what I am seeing as of recently. Like Rodan was actually supposed to take Goji and the gang home, with Alec uh, wanting to stay on the island a little more to capture the Gamora egg from a neighboring island. Uh, Alec then goes home with the help of Rodan. how Rodan does not see the egg. Well, like, Rodan basically, like, swoops, like, on Alec and then picks him up. He doesn't even care what Alec, like, has in his hands or anything. He just picks up Alec and then Alec is just sent home. But everyone is gone by then, so Alec goes to his place and keeps the egg in not seep hiding, safekeeping. So there's that bit of history. But now we have the Gojirowan era. This, as of now, does not really have a continuity, sadly. I mean, the Gojiverse obviously exists because they made the wiki, but even then, this is like the relationships between the characters and the evolution of the locations are supposed to be set after the remake of the Gojira 12 movie, but it can't be remade yet since I'm still having some line trouble. Um, like, that's the only thing holding me back from it right now. Like, that's the only thing. Um, and then there would be the Road to the Sun remake. But I'm still making up scenarios in my head to see what would most fit the movie. But again, not sure when I'm gonna make it. So overall, Gojirowan era does not have a continuity as of now, which is a real shame since I actually do like this era of me the most. So I really feel like I should slip in some movies including Goji and Jonosaurus in there. Now, what else is there to say? Oh, now we discuss about the canon and non-canon characters in the Gojiverse, and why some of them stick and why some of them remove. Okay. I said remove, not removed. Jesus Christ. Goji, you had a break today. Come on, Goji. Um, okay, so first, there's Goji himself. He's fine. He is not the center of the universe, which because some OCs do that even when they have their friends OCs in the mix. Um but he's not the center of the universe, but he is canon. Then we have Zabrosa, even though the friggin' movie hasn't come out yet. Yes, she is canon. Maddox, yes. Alec, yes. Yeezyfoot, ironically, yes, because again, Littlefoot was just a Brontosaurus. It's not like Brontosaurus was specifically made up for Littlefoot's character, so not really a rip. At least when you come to thinking about it. And the only reason why Yeezyfoot is Michael's character's name, you see his character's name is actually Michael, but he goes by Yeezyfoot just to increase the meme value. That's what he said himself, not me. But yes, Yeezyfoot is canon. Jonosaurus and Company. Yes, obviously. Um, Max's character when he actually comes back in 2022. When the Road to the Sun remake is made, yes. Yes, he will be canon. In some way, shape, or form. I would just have to do this, like, if he still does the same crap that he did with the Sega Man stuff, where he featured a bunch of copyrightable characters, I would have to explain that this is my variation of Max's character, so none of the other events happen, like with the copyrighted characters. So Max in Road to the Sun remake is his own thing. No connection to any copyrighted property like Sonic or Dragon Ball whatsoever. We ain't doing that again. But yes, Max's character will be canon with the exception that I made. Then we have Zack. Yeah. I mean, Zack has been has been in the Gojiverse long enough. It would be absolutely, mean-spirited to, make my man's character non-canon after all the teasing he got. Like, so yeah, Zack's canon. Whether y'all like it or not, I have to do it for my boy. And then we have the non-canon characters, and this is when I probably get myself into some freaking controversy. Oh boy. Uh, we have Sega Man. Now, since Sega Man's character is gone, ain't no way he finna be canon anymore. Nope. Completely disappeared from the universe. Ain't no way I'm bringing him back. Too much crap happened just because of that Sonic recolor, so nah. But at least Max realized this, and since he's making a new character now, and he'll accept my terms for my variant of his new character, that situation's fine. No need for any arguments here. Then we have Ashley's character, the Dragon Lover 95. I mean, it's not like she's not canon, but on the other hand, I think I might do the same thing with Ashley's character in the same sense that I am now doing with Max's character, okay? Because again, don't want to be copyright struck. I may feature Godzilla in my content, but at the very least, Godzilla and Ultraman are not really copyrightable properties unless you actually use footage from their film. So yeah, Ashley is halfway canon, but is also halfway not. But she will be featured in the Gojiverse nonetheless, because she is a true Goji. Then we have Century 64, Chloe's old OC. You guys were really wondering what happened to her, huh? Some of you guys really asked for a long time, so now I'm gonna give my answer. Unfortunately, she is not canon to the Gojiverse, but for a different reason than from what you think. It's because Chloe was changing Century to so many things that I could not keep up. I gave Century wings. I actually changed Century's color palette from purplish green to completely green. But then Century was changing into all these different things and blah blah blah. Nah, I can't keep up. So unfortunately, Century is not canon to the Gojiverse as of now. She's a character that will obviously be remembered, but as of now, she will probably not appear. So, yeah, there's your explanation. Sorry, Chloe, but it is what it is. Um, but now we move on to the lesser characters. Specifically, Josh and Frankie's character. Now, I actually said that Frankie's character Glitch would come back, but I don't know when that would be. Um, but there's also like with Josh, like I don't know, like considering Godzilla is like one of the only things that would like well, Ultraman and Godzilla are the only few things that I personally would actually have appear and or allowed in the Gojiverse as references and or actual beings. But Josh's OC is basically just Godzilla, so like before I can actually think of something else to to do with him to actually have him be a part of the Gojiverse again, he is not canon. Sorry, Josh. But it is what it is, man. Um, so those are the characters that were removed from the Gojiverse. Some of them fit in, some of them don't. But it is what it is. Some things have to be done for the better of everyone else watching content or for the brain cells of the other actual friends that I have that have their characters featured in the Gojiverse. So there is your answer. Um oh, which brings me to the point. There are also these roleplay characters have uh that have been made by me and Ari when we were role playing earlier in our relationship. Which, hun, can we please do that again? Please. I'm so bored on Twitter nowadays. I'm so bored. Um, like it would really help me get past the day without looking lazy. So, please, like we have that roleplay chat and everything. Like, please. Like, not to sound desperate, but I am lonely. Like that chat is absolutely barren. But we that's not the subject. Me and Ari made characters that are Sabrosa's and Goji's kids. I mean, aside from Rex, Cole, Cream, and Silver, of course. But even then, they're more of Goji's like adoptive students rather than his actual kids. I really hope that makes sense to you guys. Um, but Sabrosa and Goji's kids are Red Lemon, Spike, Skullhead, and Scrap. So when we ever get to that point, they will be canon, but as of now, they're not. So yeah. Like I wanna can't really I don't know. I don't have any other models to make them with, so that's like the only problem. Also, I just got informed by my boo that Skull is just named Skull. I originally thought that their name was Skullhead, but I mean, whatever. You made the character, so I'm just gonna call her Skull out of respect. because like it's your creation that like even if it was made for the both of us, you made it. So I'm just gonna refer Skull as simply Skull. Um. Oh wait, it is Skullhead. Just called him Skull. Oh, okay, okay. Um. So, um, dude, you literally go offline, and when you're online, I'm at school. Well, if that's the case, can we do it after the stream? Please. Oh, Jesus Christ, I sound whiny. Um, sorry, folks. Did not want to have you hear whiny Goji. Um, my voice crack. Oh, my voice crack is so bad, man. Um, oh, I completely forgot. There's also Tucker's character. Yes, Tucker is canon. Moving on. If you guys don't remember, he's the aquatic blue T Rex with black zebra spikes along his back. With a scraggly yed. No, yed. I said yed. Yellow. I meant to say yellow. Scraggly yellow. Uh, reptilian hair. Because fun fact, even reptiles can actually have hair. There you go. So Maddox, you can't say crap anymore. You can't say crap, boy. um, but guys, I am going to be ending the stream here. I am tired. I want to have a call with Ari. I miss her today. We have not chatted today. In fact, I'm pretty sure Showa asked me if we could do a call after the stream. I have no idea if I'm able to do that today. Venus also asked me if I could read their comments, so I am going to read their comments. Um, let me see. Okay, Quick's heads up. Sentry is going to be a separate character. He is going to be avian, and Venus is going to stay the shark child she is. Okay. Old Sentry, no Venus, please don't turn me into an avian. Me, bonk, new Sentry, squawk. Um, Ahem changes. Speaking of Sentry, he is going to be an avian and a whole different character away from Venus. Venus is my main persona of my YouTube career. But Sentry Fowl, Sentry's new name, he is going to have side flicks. Side flicks? Is that even a word? Venus is going to stay the shark child that she is. Jesus Christ, Venus, I'm tempted. Well, Venus, looks like you have some fan art coming in. Oh. Alright, guys, so this was my talk show today. Sorry, that was me stretching. I hope that you Gojis have a wonderful day. I'm going back to the swamp within the Golden Wood. This is your boy Goji and Sayonara. Thank you for staying with me through this bore fest of a stream.